Good morning everybody, welcome to Rugby England. I'm making this video to show you the canvases and the artwork made at the World Cup in September. They're in Shaoxing, China. We've got our first canvas here, GB versus China, the opening game after this opening ceremony. And we've got you guys here on the left hand side with the GB flags. We've got our boys in the field, Oliver Duffy on the mound pitching that night. We'll get our Chinese batsmen in the box, our flags of our competing nations on the perimeter fence, and of course we've got more of the fans in the stands over there with their horns, and they're bringing the noise, if you remember. Signed and dated, of course, on the front and the back, with all the details put into the paintings on the back of the canvases. So this is our first canvas, China versus Great Britain. Okay, so this one's Great Britain versus Colombia. Our match up in the afternoon there in Shaoxing. We've got those apartments which were being built in the background with the cranes. We've got the road with the trucks and lorries passing over. And of course we've got our teams on the field. We've got Colin LaBelle there on the mound pitching for us that day. We've got Colombia batting. And we've got our fans, as ever, in the stands. It was quiet to begin with, but I don't know if you remember, but it got really quite packed by the end as the neighbouring game finished, and everyone came through from that. So on the right hand side we've got our crowd and our dugout, and that is our second game, again our second canvas, again signed and dated on the front and the back, and all the details are there. Game 3, GB, Puerto Rico, Shaoxing on the mound, and again you can see the colours, the texture of the paint. These are all done with acrylic paints, so you can see the layering up and the range of colours and tones in there. I've got Zach on the mound, all the guys in the field in their positions. We've got our two competing nations flags on the scoreboard at the back there, along with our coaches, managers, crowd, umpires, and everything else from the day there in Shaoxing. Game 4, Canvas 4, GB Australia. A fantastic game of baseball where we really took it to the wire, just losing out by one single run in the end. But a magnificent performance from the guys. And you can see this canvas is from a slightly different perspective. It was actually inside the dugout, thanks to JC, Jonathan Cramer, our coach, for the access and allowing me in to that space with the guys. And you can see the detail changes. What we get in the painting is a little bit different. We've got our guys out here playing the game, Australia batting, GB fielding. We've got Luke Cochrane there, our lefty on the mound. Our flags behind him of the competing nations and the view across the landscape there. And then in the dugout we've got all the activity that goes on during the game, between the innings, before the game and after the game. So we've got Paul there, our photographer, with his bib and general manager. He did such a great job. He's there taking his photos. We've got Dino, Alan Dean, our physio. We've got Tucker, one of our catchers, with his towel around his neck just in between innings trying to cool off. It's incredibly hot, as I'm sure you remember. Aidan there with his bandana, his GB bandana, and then everybody else there you can see represented with their uniform numbers. So a wonderful perspective, a wonderful game, and that is our fourth canvas from the U23s in Shaoxing, China. Canvas 5, Great Britain versus Japan. An incredible match-up there on a very, very rainy and wet night in Shaoxing, and you can see the rain coming down here in the paint, blowing across the field, which kept our guys off the field and ultimately ended with the match being abandoned. We've got Jake Lambin on the field pitching on the mound. We've got our Japanese player in the box, and we've got the rain swirling above us. Down in the dugout we've got every single member of the GB team, so every team member I put in here with his or her shirt number, or with a distinguishing feature. Their clothing, you can see there, Alan Dean, our physio. If they had a hood up, or a grey jersey, or a blue jersey, or a red bib like Paul has there on the end there, our photographer and general manager. Everybody in the delegation was included in that canvas, including our scout, who we have over here up in the stands. So Lee McPhail is there in the stands watching as the game goes on. So there we have it, Japan GB, our canvas from that beautiful night there, which sadly we didn't get to finish that game, but that beautiful night there in China. Next we have Great Britain, South Africa. A slightly different viewpoint, inside the dugout again, but from the other end, from where I was painting the Wombats before. We've got our team here in the dugout. Again, some with their recognisable features. We've got Ray there with his bandana on, and he hit a home run that game. So he's there holding his bat after hitting his home run. We've got our coaches, Connor and JC. Connor Brooks and Jonathan Crammond down at the front here with their line-up cards in their back pockets. We've got a batter ready to go out with his GB on the back of his shirt. And again, you can see the batters. We've got Eddie Taylor on the mound, who did such a fine job for us pitching through the tournament. We've got him there on the mound. And there we have GB, South Africa, from the U23 tournament. And here we have our second to last game at the World Cup against the Netherlands. And a magnificent win, it has to be said. 2-1 over the Netherlands. We've got Zach Zahoski dealing on the mound here, pitching a complete game. 9 strikeouts, just 1 run allowed. 2-1 was the final score. So we've got the Dutch in the box there. We've got our crowd in the background along with our flags. And of course we've got our players there in the field performing so well. In the dugout, of course, we've got the cameraman there. We've got our players. We've got our coaching staff. We've got everybody there watching on in this magnificent win, captured there on canvas for time. So that's GB Netherlands. And here we have our final canvas from the campaign. Our final win against Chinese Taipei. An incredible game and a great way to finish the Under-23 World Cup. We've got, as with all the canvases, we've got our GB guys in the field. We've got Oliver Duffy on the mound, who did such a great job for us in both of the games he pitched. And then we've got our outfielders and infielders. And then down here we've got our bench. We've got our bench with all the players. All the delegation again are included here. We've got Ollie with the ball in his hand and his number 7 on his back. We've got Connor and JC, Jonathan Crammond, our coaches there. We've got Luke with a little halo over his head, because Luke is the patron saint of painters. So whenever I meet a Luke, I put him in the painting with a little halo over their head. So there he goes, patron saint of painters. We've got Paul again. We've got our physio Dino working on somebody's shoulder there. And then we've got all of our team with their numbers of their uniforms there somewhere in the dugout. So that is our final canvas from the Under-23 World Cup. Signed and dated on the back and front. Prints available online, along with the original of, well, some of the originals still. Any questions, just let me know. Thanks very much for your time. I hope you have a great day. Cheers.